I had an unreasonable attitude toward my own Creator. But that didn't make him love me any less. Instead, he sent his Son to a world full of people who, like me, had become his enemies. Jesus came to show us an example of true, unselfish love. He also loved us. And he gave us the power to love as he loved, that we might follow in his steps. But did any human being ever actually love his enemies? Actually, many have. And this is a vivid story. It gives a picture of that kind of love. This is a true story. Peter Miller was from my wife's hometown of Ephrata, Pennsylvania. He was a personal friend of George Washington. He was a doctor who cared for the wounded soldiers in Washington's army. He had translated the Declaration of Independence into 7 foreign languages, which enabled Washington and Jefferson to gain much needed foreign support for the Revolutionary War. Peter did not fight himself. And he also would readily care for the soldiers from the British Army. This poem was written by my son Trilon, who also provided the background and music. His hair was white and flowing. His step was sure and strong. From Ephrata to Valley Forge, he walked on foot alone. That man was Peter Miller. Though grand things he might have done, he chose to live a simple life with love for everyone. Now there were some who hated him, though they were very few. But there was one whose hatred Peter Miller too well knew. That man was Michael Whitman. News had come their way that Whitman was to hang for treason at the break of day. So on walked Peter Miller. It was 50 miles or more to Valley Forge and Washington, his friend from long before. "Why have you come so far, my friend?" the general asked the man. "You know we're greatly in your debt. I'll help you if I can." "I've come to ask for Michael Whitman's pardon," Peter said. The general listened thoughtfully, then slowly shook his head. "But Whitman is a traitor. He deserves a traitor's end. He's guilty, and I cannot grant a pardon for your friend." "My friend!" cried Peter Miller. "Why, he is no friend of mine. He's persecuted me for years, been nothing but unkind. He's beaten me, spit in my face. He knows I will not fight," said Washington. "That puts the matter in a different light. A pardon you have come to ask, and for your enemy? But why?" And Peter answered, "Jesus did as much for me." The general left and soon returned, the pardon in his hand, and thanked his friend for showing him the love of Christ again. Then 15 miles more Peter walked. The snow, his steps now slowed, and in the night he lost his way and wandered from the road. The soldiers were assembled, waiting for the sun to rise, and Whitman stood beneath the tree where he was soon to die. But wait, a man was coming, shouting, running up the road. He made his way on through the crowd to where the captain stood, and Michael Whitman, seeing him, remembering the past, said, "Well, there's old Peter Miller, come to get revenge at last." "Unbind the prisoner, set him free," the captain told his men, And Michael watched in disbelief as Peter took his hand. The men embraced, and Michael, now alive and walking free, was changed by one who, like our Savior, loved his enemy.